Hello.
Wait. All right, getting technical difficulties out. We are live in Maui, Hawaii. We're in Kihei. It's beautiful. We have a tiny little pool and chill area. And this is Julia Tamar Davis and Olivia Margre.
You forgot Ruth. It's her middle name.
You forgot Ruth.
Margre. Where exactly did you guys grow up? First, Jules.
I grew up on the Upper West Side, and then I lived in Manhattan, and then I lived in New Jersey for a little bit when I was a kid. I lived in the city, New Jersey, like suburban New York, and that's where I met Olivia.
How old are you?
22.
Okay, and where did you grow up?
I grew up in Palm Beach, Florida, 561. Kind of like here, just less mountains, very sunny, beachy. Yeah, Florida.
Cool. And what brought you to this island in the middle of the ocean, Hawaii? Like, how did you find this place or get here?
Well, she's visiting me, but she got here. You want to explain SneakerCon?
So yeah, I do media for SneakerCon. Not only SneakerCon, but we started doing interviews for them, and they flew me out here. And my lovely friend Julia lives here, so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna just fly home after 3-4 days. I'm gonna stay with her and just kind of experience Hawaii and Maui and just kind of like chill vibe adventure, you know.
So this is your first time here?
Yes, my first time.
What
here.
is your impression? Do you think it's like, as far as the places you've visited, what do you rate it?
Honestly, I think this is the best state in America that I have ever been to because it's not anything like any other state. I would say it's a little closer to Florida, like it's kind of like Florida a little bit, but I feel like this is the best state because it's just so beautiful. It's definitely like the heart chakra of the world.
Did you meet any Hawaiians or local people?
At SneakerCon I met a few, definitely cool people, and here, I met you, you know, I met some people, and everyone's really nice here and a lot nicer than mainland.
Yeah. Aloha spirit.
Aloha.
Yeah. And then you've been here for longer, obviously.
The first time I came here was right after like we were kind of getting free from lockdown a little bit from COVID, and I was 20 years old, and I was saving up with a best friend to move to California. We were gonna move to LA together, and then when I visited, I just remember like really knowing that that wasn't my truth. And then I started watching YouTube videos of this girl named Autumn Brienne, and she makes like self-love and taking back your power and standing in like the throne of your life, or sitting in the throne of your life as a woman. And so she was hosting a trip on Maui, and I went on that trip, and it changed my life. And it kind of felt like I flew home, and then I ended up moving here a few years after that.
Cool. What are your future aspirations? Where do you see yourself in, like, or where do you hope to be in 5 years? Still adventuring the world and changing lives, or what's the goal?
For me, I think I definitely see myself continuing to adventure the world and just to be present with every day, because I think that like every day, there's no day that's more important than another one, even if like we're always kind of chasing some destination of happiness, and to just be present with the journey.
Yeah, I would say my goal is to just always have happiness, peace, love, be around people that I love, do what I love, and try to change the world in a better place. If it's even 5 people, 10 people,
Yeah.
1 million people, hopefully, but you know, it could even be like a small amount of people, but that's honestly it. And just travel and experience life, and hopefully, you know, be where I want to be.
What do you guys think about the culture nowadays, how it's way more open with social media or podcasting, or you're like, what are some of the benefits to I guess fame or notoriety or having a big audience, and what are some of the things that are like drawbacks and that kind of are kind of painful or not as good about it?
So I would say there's a good and bad towards everything.
You have a good following, a big following.
Yeah, and I would say, there's a good and bad towards everything. Like, obviously, social media has been able to make people reconnect from all around the world. You can meet somebody so easily online, or, you can spread positivity so easily. And social media has really been a tool, but I feel like it can also be negative if you use it in the wrong way, or if, you're using it for negativity, like hating on somebody, or using it for something bad. So I think too much of something could always be bad. As long as you're using social media as a tool and for the right thing, and not overusing it, like just scrolling, because that's really bad. And
I like that. I believe that too. I think anything is okay, but too much of anything is bad.
Yes.
I also think
Is it addictive?
Yes, of course.
I feel like also it's like important to recognize that, we are in this evolving time where social media is becoming like a bigger part. Sorry, Susan. It's becoming. It is becoming a bigger part of our daily lives, and it's a whole new market. It's like a whole new job market, and I feel like if you look at it through the lens of opportunity to meet people, to make connections, and to make a difference and affect a lot of people in a positive way, then it can be a beautiful tool. So like anything, like it's neutral, and then you give it meaning.
Yeah.
And so
and
we
also
hope
you
to give it
can
a positive meaning.
you can become famous like that nowadays. Like anybody from the middle of Kentucky can literally gain 1 million followers or something so easy.
Yeah, because it doesn't make you better than anybody, or more deserving. We all have
So it
something
sounds
to
like
say.
you guys think it's more empowering and positive than the drawbacks are worth it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're evolving as a society, and yes, there are a lot of negative things that go into social media, and hate, and
So it's
false
it's empowering.
news.
It's empowering then.
It's empowering, but it honestly depends how you use it, because a lot of people make it negative. Maybe they're scrolling and only looking at people and comparing themselves, and then become insecure and maybe suicidal.
Or spread hate comments.
Or spread hate, which makes
How do
someone
you
else
feel
suicidal.
like the social media or fame affects relationships?
I think social media has ruined relationships.
For people or for you?
I think not just for me, but I think for people in general, because nowadays you can go on Tinder, you can go on Bumble, whatever, swipe, find somebody immediately. Like, it's instant gratification. Nowadays we're all just like instant. There's no like, a man doesn't need to go outside and like buy a girl a drink and like try hard and to get a girl. They just go online and swipe, say, hey, I like the way you look. It's very like materialistic, like exterior.
And I also think that...
Do you think it is that easy for men just to get women?
No, I don't think it's easy at all, but I'm saying it's easier than it was, because back then our grandparents had to go out and meet a woman maybe in their neighborhood or their childhood friend that they were with. It's not like now you can meet somebody across the world and go meet up with them and fall in love, or and also when you're in a relationship, I think it's harder too, because social media is the highlights of your life. It's the best moments of your life. It's the best angles, Photoshop. It's not real at all, so
I also
people may
think
perceive things wrong.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then I also think that it's kind of this, we're both kind of playing tug of war. And I feel like, for example, if we're talking about heteronormative relationships is what we're talking about, which is
Wait, say it again.
Heteronormative relationships, which is like just a guy and a girl dating.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. But when we're talking in terms of that, men and women, like, men are kind of getting used to seeing like women like posting all those kind of pictures online, and women are feeling the pressure to do that too from society. Like, we're taught that we are a sight since we're little girls, so like we kind of like we're both succumb
capitalizing
to,
and
we're both
which
suffering.
sex
We're both
sells.
suffering.
Sex
And we're
was
both-
always sold before social
Sure.
media. There was brothels, there was prostitutes, you know what I mean? Which it's now
Yeah.
safer for women, I would say, than back then when you literally would like be in a brothel, or
I agree.
you would. It's definitely safer now, because with OnlyFans, it's safe. You're at home, you can do whatever you please. It's way easier, because no matter what, like, sex is always gonna sell, and no matter what, women are always gonna sell it.
Almost any industry that takes gratuities is sex related.
A restaurant,
But yeah,
anything.
anyone, like, you dress beautiful and act charming and and appealing to get big tips, and
Yeah,
it's
Same
almost
with for men too.
and it's
Right.
it's I don't know.
Sex is always going to sell, which is what I say. I think we're always going to be a sight. You know what I mean? Like, beauty is, and we have to be grateful for that as well.
Do you think that the opinion that that being really vibrant sexually is fleeting, or is something that is only lasting while you're young, is valid?
No. Well, I think
and
too that
if not, why not? And who are some women who you think are just incredibly sexy and they're older?
Okay, so I have a great example, and I would say someone I really look up to is Beyonce. And today we were kind of looking at the lyrics of like Beyonce's song In a Position of Power, where she has a song called Cozy, and the lyrics are comfortable in my skin, like I'm cozy, and she's really infusing, like it says like, might I suggest you don't fuck with my sis because she's comfortable. And what she's doing is using like the power of sound to make women feel comfortable to speak your truth, be fearless, put yourselves in environments that challenge you, which is like us going on a podcast with men that might like disagree, which is I think why we have kind of felt that we kind of are stronger together when we go into those situations. And you know, we both share different perspectives, but can empower each other as sisters to carry that message to other women. And so I think that we hope that in our way of not caring about how we might be perceived, because we know that we're not perfect, but we know who we are and we know who our loved ones are, and acting from that place.
What I do have to say is, of course, like, beauty doesn't last forever, which is why when you're with somebody that you choose to be with, like, you have to love more than just their beauty, because when they're 80, you're both gonna not be attractive anymore. And you never seen like a 80-year-old, 90-year-old like sick in bed, like attractive, like they're old and wrinkly. So at the end of the day, like
you might, but they might still. I feel like attraction.
Of course, attraction can be
deeper,
from within.
you know?
But I'm saying beauty, like obviously right now we're gonna be our most beautiful. Maybe even in the future we'll be even more beautiful. But it's gonna eventually deteriorate. And of course we can say Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, but they all have plastic surgery at the end of the day, which is fine to do. Which we're probably gonna end up doing it anyway. But I'm saying, like, beauty doesn't last for men as well. Like, for men, it goes away. Men
I have a hypothetical.
They just have money.
Let's say you had two options. One would be that you're very, like, well respected with men and women, and, like, you're an author or an actress, and everyone just admires your art, like Beyonce or Rihanna or something. And you can live in a mansion, and you have many men work for you, and you have cooks, and you have masseuses, and you have servants, and you like have a great life all the way into you're old until you die.
Okay.
Or would you like to be with one man who is, grows old with you, and you guys go through the struggles of life, how typically life is run? What appeals more to you, and why?
I am the movie The Notebook kind of girl. Like, I believe everybody, that's not what everybody's truth is or should be.
So like a romantic.
Yeah, I'm
and you want to find love with one person, but you're not into having a family.
I don't believe, I'm not into having my own biological children, but I don't think that family is really just looks
you can
one
adopt,
sort of way.
or you could hanai people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would say I would love to choose one person and be with that person and be able to do all those things, the other things you said with that one person. But if like you had to choose, I would choose that one person, because at the end of the day, I think all that material like stuff like doesn't matter, and it doesn't fulfill your heart, and it doesn't fulfill you. Mm-hmm. Love at the end of the day always wins. Like, what humans crave is that like real genuine love and safe home, which is what we always wanted since a child, when your mom or dad held you, or the love you felt by your teacher or whoever. You always want that till you're old. And I think all the material stuff is all temporary. Like, that can all vanish in an instant, that can all go away, but that like love you have for somebody will never leave.
I feel like she's this way too, where it's like you wouldn't trade like laughing your ass off, like that one kind of sense of humor you share with someone, for like your dream car and like a biggest check ever.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't trade like the authentic, real soul connection and love.
Yeah, because I feel like it's even
couple
more
romantics
fun
over
to
here.
like us like laughing
Hopeless.
and stuff than like doing something crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something that a lot of women have, their hopeless romantics deep down inside, and do you think men share that?
Yes, totally. I think we all you know, when love is only painful because we all want to do it right and we all want to feel it, but we don't always know how to go about it. We're taught these messages that make us confused, and we go about loving people in a backwards way sometimes.
Why is so much of society unfaithful, and why are everyone lying to each other?
Also, if you think about it, right, a lot of people suck at relationships or money because we're not taught, like in school, we're not even taught how to have a relationship, right? Like not even lover, but even like within business, you need to have relationships with people, like business relationships, friendships. We were never ever taught. We're not taught how to be social or how to communicate.
Do you think that should be taught at school or at home?
I think at school, because at home a lot of parents are not teaching that, and there's a lot of parents that forget to teach that. And of course, if there are parents that do teach that, that's great.
What
but
do you think about like the mother and father working and the school having to take over a lot of the parenting?
Well, I think in the schools is where a lot of people learn and develop.
Too.
Just like how they finally just added like financial literacy class, like course that you have to take.
So you're okay with the government raising kids?
It's not about the government raising kids.
The government is the school,
But
though.
what about nobody's raising them? We need somebody to raise them.
It's also, it's
What
not
do you
about
think
the government.
that one parent should stay home, either the mother or the father, or that would benefit a strong society or a strong kid?
Yes, but guess what? Is everybody going to do that?
No.
What about single parents?
No, but ideally, do you think what would be better?
I think what would be better is if they had both their parents in their life. Of course, somebody needs to make the money. So I think once you have enough money to have a child. Don't just have a child unless you have enough money to support your child and raise your child the right way, because that is why our society is becoming so messed up, because of how we're raised. You know what I mean? Ages 5 to 12 or whatever are like the main ages of when you need to be raised correctly.
Well, these guys are not just beautiful, they're smart. And I have a couple quick rapid fire questions. You don't have to have a long answer, but just quickly think what's the first things that come to your head, whether you like it, and your thoughts on.
Is it like a 5-word like
answer? It doesn't have
answer?
to be like that. You can just, but it doesn't have to be a long thought. Just quick thoughts on transgender.
Transgender.
I think that at the end of the day, all you can focus on is your actions in the world, and people can say whatever they want online about their opinions about something, but who are they being as a person in the world is what I care about. If I'm going to make a judgment about somebody, like how are they treating other beings, other sentient beings, and who are they being in the world. So to me, it's not my business how someone identifies or what their gender is, unless, you know, it's important to them for like me to acknowledge that about them. But everybody is entitled to their own path to happiness, and I'm always going to support that.
I think do whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. If that's what's going to make you happy, that's fine. But I feel like a lot of people don't know what makes them happy, and they follow the herd and they'll do something that they don't really want, and then they change their life forever, and they can't really go back. And when you can't go back is when, that's why a lot of transgender people do commit suicide. And I would say if you really, really, really know, then go ahead and do it. But I wouldn't just do it because everyone else is doing it. I think that's why a lot of people are doing it.
What about nationalism? What do you guys think of nationalism? Is it benefits or drawbacks? And do you guys know what that? You guys know what that is?
Like having pride in your nation,
pride in your
together.
country. Yeah.
I mean, I think that cooperation is always something that is like, you know, will lead to healing and victory and success for humanity. But
do you think that's where wars come from? Because people are proud on one side and on the other, and they fight though?
Well, I think it's about focusing on the idea of nationalism is
I mean, imagine if we were one
together.
big thing instead of a bunch of nations that were possibly going to blow each other up.
Yes, I think it would be.
Or
that's
like
a dream.
But how unrealistic is that?
Well, the new world order is planned by a lot of people. The Chinese people want to take over, and the Western world is trying to take over.
At the end of the day, like, we're never all going to be satisfied. You know, people are
You don't think the human race will ever unify?
Well, I think that the only
It'll always be nationalism, always be countries, borders, pretend lines that we draw.
So.
I mean, I hope not, but I think that's where we're going, and that's what we've been doing. And I think that changing people's minds is so hard once they have a set in stone belief and they're not willing to change and rethink, because you have to unbelieve every belief you've ever had to make a new belief.
But doesn't it just take a generation or two? Isn't that being proven right now? Like in my lifetime, people's beliefs have changed enormously. Like it went from being like homophobia to being like predominantly like,
But there's always going to be those
prioritized or
select
whatever.
few, because
And you have to
those
lead by
people are going to be
example.
raised by, like, yeah, generation, but they're still going to have generational trauma. They're still going to get raised by that
Yep.
person who's going to show, like, raise them to be the way
have
they
the beliefs
are.
they do, but it's about anytime you're telling somebody to like change their beliefs, they're likely not going to listen. But people are, if you lead by example, people are naturally going to be inspired and try to mimic people who are behaving in a way that is supportive of humanity, I think. And I think that if we all take daily steps in our own lives, not worrying about what everybody else is up to, but if we actually focus on what we can control, which is how we individually show up in the world, then that is what is going to determine where our world goes. If everybody wakes up and is like, I'm going to be the best version of myself and the kindest version of myself and show the most aloha and show the most compassion and like speak and connect my mind to my heart when I interact with people, I think that is like really all we can control. You know,
Of course.
talking all day can kind of be like a distraction too.
But at the end of the day, like, I just don't see the whole world changing in that way, because there's always going to be mentally ill people, there's always going to be murderers and psychopaths and narcissists, and there's always going to be those people. So you physically can't change if somebody likes kids or something. You can't change that. You know, you can't be like, hey, rethink. They're gonna still
yeah,
feel
but
that
I mean,
way.
Like, if the world is a better place because people are choosing like simple actions to like be more thoughtful of how their behavior impacts we live in a collective society. We share the earth, we share the resources, we share this world. And so if we want it to be a good place, then we all play a role. We all play some roles are bigger than others. Some people have more of an influence than others with their money or their power, but we all play a role. And I think that if you focus on your role, and you know, that's all you can really focus on anyway.
Yeah,
And that's kind of how you can find happiness.
What are your thoughts on money and where it's headed? It's obviously that there's a cryptocurrency which is going to be released by like the same people that print our actual money coming up, and they're going to really be able to keep track of all the money you spend, and also our dollar is weakening quickly because of this alliance between all these other countries that are tired of America fucking with them with just brute force and kind of stacking our money up, making it have value worth because we're a bully, not because we have gold backing it. Where do you think the future of money is going? And do you have any concerns with America one day being poor or yourselves being poor? Do you just feel like it's just going to be okay and we're just going to always do fine in America and here with our US dollars?
Well, I think that cash is not going to exist in maybe 5 to 10 years. I think it's literally not going to exist anymore, and especially in America. I think digital money is going to be like the next big thing, which it already is, but it's going to be way bigger with crypto and all that coming out. I mean, I feel like right now, like, we're in like a slight depression, kind of like, or like a mini one. A lot of people are like, you know, going bankrupt.
Are you ever worried about like America turning into a third world country? Like it kind of is in like LA and stuff, or Skid Row, or places where it's like really fucked up and towns are being abandoned or stuff like that, to a point where we actually have to, fend for ourselves again. It's necessarily just money. You have to actually like hunt or fight or have a, do you ever
I don't
worry
think
about
it's ever
regressing backwards to a less sophisticated? Do you think
I think we definitely are regressing, but I think we'll never be like a third world country because there are people with a lot of money. Like, look at Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, look at all these people, like, and look at social media, how much you can make money off of ads and just posting content, and people are more like going towards that realm to make money, which is fine, and also people are still doing normal jobs, which we need. But I think we're never going to be a third world country. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like that sometimes I don't really think about like things that could be happening, because it's like at the end of the day, whatever's gonna happen is gonna unfold, and you're just gonna respond to it then in the best way you know how, and that tomorrow is never promised. So if like you're in the position to help people financially, and you want to do that, like I think that that's really awesome. And if you're not in that place, I think it's just good to look out for yourself and look out for others, and you know, ask yourself what the root of your desires are. If your desire is to have a lot of money, why is that? Because some people want it for different reasons though. Like, do you want it to support a family? Do you want it because it makes you feel like you have this like status and that it makes you better than someone else? Because it doesn't, you know. It doesn't matter to me if you have no money or you're like the richest guy in the world. It's who you are as a person. And so I think that we should all ask ourselves the roots of our desires, because it might not even be what we're looking for.
And I think it's also a little unfair that, like, I don't know about unfair, but how the top 1% people have like majority of the money in the world. You know, like the companies like Apple and all this, they have like the most money, but they are also supplying jobs and stuff like that. But I think it's a little unfair that they have all the money and they don't even like give back that much.
Okay, last question. Have you ever thought about what it's all about? Like, is this a simulation or a video game, or is Jesus and hell real, or is there reincarnation? Just a quick, like, you know, reincarnation or karma, or is like, how do you feel? Why are we here? What are we doing? Like, what's going on?
I think that Earth is a game and it's a school.
Like a video game?
It's like as if you went to school, and school, instead of teaching you through homework, they taught you through this virtual video game. That's what I think. And I think too that there's also no coincidence that we have the opportunity. I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to have like, and I've been a different person throughout every journey, every phase of my life, but the fact that I'm sitting here with my childhood best friend, like, and somebody who I love so deeply, to me is not a coincidence or just by chance that I happen to meet them. You know, I think that we are very loved and protected by a force that's hard to actually comprehend, but that we all, or that, you know, I believe is there.
I think that we'll never truly know why we're here, but I think, you know, possibly it's God, the universe, put us here to see what we're gonna do. Are we gonna do the right thing? Are we gonna do the wrong thing? And
to evolve and grow.
To evolve and grow and prosper and maybe be reborn into a new life again, or go to heaven, or, you know, if it's that, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, we don't really know, and I can't tell someone something that I don't really know, but I think that it's just all about love.
Yes.
Cool. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. This podcast is brand new, but it's going to be big. Shirtless in Hawaii. There's only a couple requirements. You have to be in Hawaii and shirtless, which we all are.
2 rules.
Yep.
Don't break the rules. The 2 biggest rules, okay, guys?
Shout out to these young ladies. I know they're going to do big things. You'll see them on upcoming shows this week, actually, and they are already doing it big, you know?
We love you guys, and I hope that you remember, even if you forget, to be confident in yourself and to be unapologetically you.
Because you're the only you that you could have.
It's like a feel-good thing,
And
I guess,
more
today. Anyway, you know how we do it. Episode 3. I am Christopher Malik, your host, and we will be back at you.